kitchen needs a pantry. Now, whether it's just a cupboard or two or a walk-in space, it doesn't matter. The principles are the same and they still apply across the board. And here's what we're going to do. A pantry is meant to hold 1 to 2, maybe 3 weeks, maybe in a big space like this, up to 4 or 5 weeks worth of food. If you've got just a cupboard in the kitchen, then you're going to have 1 or 2 weeks worth. But because of this space, we could accommodate more. But here again, how you set it up, the principle applies whatever the space. And so what we did was we looked at that sea of food that we ended up with as we emptied out the kitchen, all the cupboards and everything. We grouped and stored like items together. You know what? It's called the supermarket principle of storage. I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. It's been used for hundreds of years, the grouping and storing like items together principle. And so we have pastas, rice, potato flakes, and then boxed meals like tuna and hamburger helper, on down to stovetop stuffings and breadcrumbs and so on, kind of grouped together like this so it makes some sense. Just like when you go into a grocery store, everything sort of fits together into categories. So this is that wall. Now on this wall, across the top were all of our barbecue sauces, our flavorings, our salad dressings, our condiments, and then backup supplies of herbs and spices in a nice container. And then, coming on down on this side, we've got our vegetables. And we tried to do it, loosely speaking, alphabetically, stacking like items together. And so we started with green beans and mushrooms and peas and potatoes and olives and yams. You hear the alphabetical stuff going on here? And then we've got some pickles. And then we've got tomato products on the next shelf. We've got a whole shelf devoted to soups and another shelf devoted to soups and bouillons. And then on this shelf here, and consider this, if you would, putting proteins together. Now, that can be your tuna, your canned meats. That can be your peanut butters and your beans. And so we've got kind of a protein center going on here. Now, in the center, we use some backup mixes for gravies and so on, dry onion soups, bacon bits, backup olive oil. We've got a whole shelf here devoted to jellos and puddings because that's something Kathy's family likes. You'll be thinking of what your family likes, what your needs are, and you'll set up your pantry that way. But the principle to remember, alphabetically if possible, grouping and storing like items together. These two bins are snack center. This is unopened snacks, and these are opened snacks. Her short little children can get in here, get what they need, and put them back. And that's an important principle. We've got a shelf here of backup sweeteners, our carob syrups and our molasses and our agave nectars. We've got our raisins and our marshmallows, things that Kathy likes to bake with. And we've got a shelf with another shelf below, still the baking idea going on. We've got canned milk and backup shortening and dough enhancer, wheat germ, and so on. And then still a little more backup for baking. Extra salt and a cornmeal. We've got extra vanillas, and we've got our yeast. And then again, more baking, because you know they do a lot of that. And that's part of their livelihood. So then we've got all of our cake mixes and our brownie mixes and so on. So we grouped and stored like items together and used an alphabetical organization as much as possible. Now we look at this wall on this side, and we've got our fruit. We've got canned fruits, again, alphabetical, apricots, fruit cocktail, grapefruit, oranges, peaches, pineapple, and so on. Kathy likes to can, and so she's got a shelf for some of her canned food. She's got a little bit of food storage downstairs in the basement, so she doesn't have everything here, but just enough for 2 or 3 weeks worth. She's got canned pie fillings here, pumpkin, blueberry, and then down below she's got juices. She's got her her almond milk, some cocoa backup, pancake syrup right next to her jams. Now, as I look at this, there's only one thing that I would change. And remember, we talked about that. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You're kind of trying this out, trying that out, and if it doesn't fit, it's okay to change it around. Pickles are not fruit. I would put them more in the vegetable category, and we've already got a jar of pickles right here. So I would like to transfer her pickles over to this side. Pickles would be here, and then this shelf would be for fruit. She's got applesauce and peaches and pears, and so now she'll have a little more room for a little more canned fruit. So there you go, a pantry. And this is pretty big. Again, if you've got just a cupboard or two inside your kitchen, same principle applies, it's just that you don't have as much food. Maybe only 1 or 2 weeks worth, but group and store like items together with the alphabetical principle, and you're home free. And there you are. You've got a centered kitchen, a kitchen that measures up.